Hello, everyone. My name is Holly, and during this hour, we will be giving each other advice for interviews. So, if you've ever had a successful interview, come on in so you can give some advice. Or if you need some interview help, maybe this class will help out for your next interview. So, the topic is advice for interviews. So, hello, Carlos. How are you today?
Hello, Oli. How are you?
Good, good. So, it's 4 o'clock where you are, right?
Yes, a little
Yeah.
bit early than normal.
I was going to say, well, I'm actually teaching. I started today at noon, and for a long time, I never taught before 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. So for several weeks. So
Yes, I've been following some of your classes today. You start very early.
yeah, and the thing is, and then I accidentally I try to only schedule 3 classes in a row because by the third class I'm really tired. And my mind is tired, but I accidentally scheduled a fourth class. So I was going to press on the schedule for Tuesday, and I pressed on a schedule for Monday. And it's like, oh no! And it was too. Once I pressed on that, I couldn't cancel because it would have not been good. So I thought, okay, I'll teach 4 hours. So.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, but yeah, it's fun. So, and hello again, Antonio. I was going to ask. I was hoping you came to this class, Antonio. I'm hearing myself or something. Okay, Antonio, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, I was hoping you'd come to this class because I was wondering where you are in the world because it's quite late in Spain.
Yes. I am in a little population, a little city known as Ubrique. It's in the south of Spain, in Andalusia.
Okay, but what time is it in Spain right now?
Now it's 1 a.m.
That's what I thought. Okay, I thought it was really late. Uh, okay, excellent. So, and was it a holiday today in Spain?
Sorry, I can't hear
It,
you.
is it a holiday today in Spain?
No, in some cities maybe because we are just finished. I don't know in English, Semana Santa, a
It's called
special week.
Easter. Yeah, Easter or you might also call it Holy Week.
Okay. In Spain is special related with religion, with
Uh-huh.
Christian religion.
Mhm.
And here in the south, in Andalusia, is especially uh, uh, it's a special festivity, it's a special holiday for many people. But I don't
Mhm.
really know if here is for children in school. Yes, they don't have to go to the school, but I, I I see all the shops open,
Mhm.
and I suppose it's a normal day, a working day for most people.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Yeah, because I know in Finland, for example, they had today off. And in Mexico, is today also a working day or is it a day off? Um, Carlos?
It's a working day.
It is a working day.
The school are not working, but at the office and the factories company they actually working.
Okay. All right. All right. And hello, Julio. Or is it you, Julio? Hello.
Hi, Holly.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. And you?
Good. Good. Did you have a good Easter?
Yeah, sure. I'm not a very religious person,
Mm-hmm.
and here in Mexico we have what we call Semana Santa or like Holy Week,
Uh-huh.
where we don't really call it. Well, we do call it Pascua, which should be like the translation for Easter, but just very religious here. No Easter bunny, nothing like that. It's all
Okay.
about Jesus and the
Uh-huh.
religion stuff.
I see. Yeah. All right. Thank you. And Alejandro, hello. It's nice to see you again.
Hello, nice to see you.
Excellent. So, a question for you. Did you have a day off today for the holiday? Or is it
Uh,
just a regular day?
no, it's working day here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yesterday was holiday, but yesterday was Sunday.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So, wow, I've never had this many Mexicans in my class at the same time. Hello, Martin. You're from Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And then Julio from Mexico and Carlos from Mexico. Usually you guys are all in there in the class alone, or one or the other. So, awesome. And Antonio here is from Spain, and then Alejandro is from Argentina. And so let's go ahead and get started. So the topic for this class is advice for interviews. I'm assuming that all of you and myself have had good interviews and bad interviews. So what I'd like to do is make a list before we do a quick reading on some advice you would give people having an interview, or what's the most important thing to remember when having an interview. So, Alejandro, can you think of some important tips that people need to remember when having an interview?
You need to find information about the company that you apply. Negotiate the salary, and your body language is important. If you are nervous or quiet.
Right, thank you. And remember your body language. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. And Antonio, can you think of some different things to remember when having an interview?
Yes, here in Spain is something like that, but here is important not to speak about the salary in the first time.
Okay.
You only have to speak about the things you have to do, or the way you are going to do for the company, and demonstrate that you can make it as well or better than any other. And when you have in your hand the possibility to get the job, this this is the moment to speak about the salary, because if you speak in the first time here in Spain, it's possible you don't have any possibility to get.
Yeah, that's the same in my country as well. You usually talk about the salary when they're ready to give you the job. So, all right. So basically, what you just said, demonstrate why you are the best candidate. Oh, excellent. And Carlos, do you have any things that people should remember?
Yes, maybe what I used to do is study my resume. So I can also the dressing code.
Okay, dressing code. You mean dress well?
Yes.
Or dress for the job.
Dress for the occasion. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And maybe highlight your experience, so you can demonstrate you are the best for the job. You have the experience.
Yeah. Highlight your experience. Perfect.
And what achievement have you done in the past? Perfect. All right. Julio.
Do you have any other ideas to add?
Sure. Show up on time
Mm-hmm.
and be honest about your competencies.
Okay.
And
Competencies.
competencies.
Competencies. Yeah. About your competencies. Okay.
And prepare questions so you can show interest in the job.
Mm-hmm. You guys, I got a job once where the question I had prepared was, what have I what am I applying for? What are the duties of this job? Because I had no idea what the job was, and everybody laughed. So it was really funny. So Martin, do you
Yeah,
have any uh, tips on things that people need to remember when they are having an interview?
I think my partner said the most important thing, but an additional, when you have an interview, you want to be transmit. You are sure.
Say that again. When you have an interview, you need to what?
You have to be sure.
Confident.
Yeah.
So be confident. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And so
And
uh-huh.
and you want to be very awareness if you have the opportunity to say no, do it, because sometimes you can have a problem if you got the job.
Okay. So say that again. I think I want to say that again.
And to be awareness,
Be aware of what?
because sometimes if the interview asks you something that you can do it, you want to say yes or no with awareness. No, you say yes for all because you want to the job.
Okay. So so basically be aware of your competencies, or be honest about your competencies. Be aware of what you can do and what you cannot do. Yeah, and one of the things what I thought you were saying, and so I thought I'd write this down anyway, is watch for red flags. So personally, I think when you go for an interview, you're not the only one being interviewed. So are they. So I went for a job interview right before I quit my last job, and I walked in, and there were two ladies at the reception, both of them sitting on their cell phones. Neither one of them looked up. And when I told them what I was there for, they were like, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll call them." You know, they were just not really all that a good representative of the company. And then when the interviewers came out, they were wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and to me that was a red flag. Basically, not a professional job that I would want. so I did not pursue the job, and I was very glad that I didn't get it. So all right, Ed, welcome back. So, all right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to read the text below, then choose a heading for each paragraph. So the headings are dress sense, be prepared, don't talk too much, make a good first impression, and watch your body language. So, so very few people really enjoy interviews. However, if you want to get a job, they are impossible to avoid. We asked some experienced interviewers for tips on having a successful interview. So, Martin, could you read the first one?
The first one, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many candidates prepare for an interview. There really is no excuse for it anymore. you can research a company on the internet, either on the corporate websites or by going through online newspaper archives. Yet, in many interviews, it's, it is some very clear that the candidate knows little or nothing about the company he is applying to.
Okay, excellent. All right, and the only one I would when you read this first one, you said candidates, but we'd say candidate. Candidate is candidates.
Candidate.
Candidate. Yeah, and if you first of all, I'm hearing a noise, so if you are not speaking, could you mute your microphone? Appreciate that. All right, and Ahmed, Ahmed, can you speak?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, awesome. Welcome. All right.
Welcome, sir. Thank you.
All right. So the main idea of this first paragraph is prepare in advance, like Alejandro said. I personally have somebody that was going to get a job, and because they didn't prepare, they were ready to hire her, but because she did not know what the company was or what they did, they decided to go with somebody else. It was too bad. So, Ahmed, could you read number 2 here?
Yes. Shake hands firmly with the interviewer. No one likes a wet fish. Eye contact is also important, though it's best not to start staring at the interviewer.
Okay. So what does a wet fish mean?
Wet fish. I don't know.
Does anyone know? Any idea?
Don't get nervous.
Yeah, it's probably why you're nervous.
When you are clear.
So basically, I'm going to show you some examples of. I'll show you an example of shaking hands like a wet fish. That's pretty much shaking hands like a wet fish. So you don't actually grip. This is the correct way, of course, but these two right here, where you're both shaking, you're both gripping. Like he's gripping the bottle. That's what shaking hands correctly is. But if you're like a wet fish, you do not grip back. So this is another image right here. If you're shaking hands like a wet fish, this is how it feels like to the other people. So, but basically, it's this type. This is a good example right here. So the one person is gripping, the other person is the hand is straight, and so it's not. It feels really weird, and people don't like it. So, and of course. Does everybody know what that means? What we mean by that? Everybody understand now?
Sure.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In Asia, since they don't shake hands, it's really hard for them to understand what that is. And a lot of times they do shake hands like a wet fish. So, so eye contact is also important. Okay, number 3, Julio, can you read this first paragraph?
Sure. Many candidates arrive at an interview looking like they have just got off a long-haul flight. Get that suit dry cleaned, and above all, make sure your shoes are polished.
Perfect. Okay, then number 4, Alejandro, can you read this first paragraph and maybe the first sentence in the second paragraph too?
Be careful about your posture. Don't fold your arms during the interview. One interviewer we spoke to talked about the chair test.
Okay, thank you. And Carlos, could you read the next?
It was one of those swizzle ones, and some candidates spent the interview swinging from left to right. One applicant even pushed the lever so that the chair would recline. Needless to say, he hasn't invited back.
He wasn't invited back, okay. All right, and the last one, Antonio, could you read this one?
Okay. It's very easy to give too much information when you are nervous. Give concise answers to your interviewer's questions and make sure that you don't ramble.
Ramble, perfect. What does it mean to ramble?
Uh,
To talk too much,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, and I can do that. Definitely. So, and we have the chair test. Are there any other words that you guys might not know?
Yes, Holly. Swivel?
Swivel. Okay, they would basically these are the chair is the swivel ones. The swivel chairs are the ones that you can actually move back and forth. So they're not a regular straight back chair, but they move. Let me show you a picture. It's a regular office chair. Probably not good for not good for interviews. At least I would fail this. I would fail the swivel office chair test. These right here. So if you have one that's just an office chair without swivel, you of course no wait. All of these are office chairs. All of them now. All the chairs now are swiveled. So this is a regular one. This is the type that is not a swivel chair, so it doesn't move at all. But any chair that has wheels would be a swivel office chair. And see, I rambled on because I couldn't remember to say wheels. So,
Teacher, I have a question.
yes.
How do you call these chairs that are like armchairs? They are like very comfortable, and that you can actually lean back and almost like if you were laying down on the chair.
Yeah. That is, it's the type of chair I'm sitting in right now. It is a recliner chair. Is this the type of chair?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those are called recliners. I'll write it down in the chat.
Fine. Okay.
And they're very, very comfortable, and even some of them will lay down flat so people can sleep on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like this guy, he probably sleeps on this. Who knows?
Okay. Thank you. I didn't know that.
Yeah, good. Yay! I actually got to teach you a word. So, yay! So I always get excited when I teach advanced level students words. So, all right. So let's go ahead and put the top on. So the number one, what would the what is it? The heading for this paragraph be?
Be prepared.
Yeah. Okay, be prepared. Not a problem. Okay. And number two, which one is that one? We've got dress sense, don't talk too much, make a good first impression, watch your body language.
The last one. Watch your body language.
So actually it's not watch your body language. It's make a good
Yes.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Make a good first
Make
impression.
a good first impression.
Yeah, so make a good first impression. And because the handshake is when you make that first impression. Okay, and then the third one. Okay, they look long haul flight. Get that suit dry cleaned. Above all, make sure your shoes are cleaned. So which one would that be?
Dress sense.
Dress sense, yes. Okay, and then number 4. That one is about posture in the chair test. What would that be?
Body language.
Yes. Watch your body language. And then the final one would be, of course, don't talk too much. Don't ramble. Okay. All right, so let's go on. So let's write sentences or say sentences using the cues in the gray box. So it's a good idea to, it's sensible to, it's important to, it's useful to, be sure to, or it's helpful to. Okay. So number 1, Alejandro, can you try that one?
It's a good idea to prepare for an interview.
Okay. Idea to prepare for an interview. Perfect. So this is when you're giving advice. One of the phrases you can say is it's a good idea to. Julio, can you do number 2?
It's useful to find out about the company.
Yes. Useful to find out about the company. All right, and Ahmed, can you do number 3?
Sensible to shake hands firmly.
That one would work. I would say be sure to.
Mm-hmm.
Be sure to.
Yeah. Be sure to
Shake
hands
hands.
firmly.
Yeah. Okay, and then Martin, can you do number 4?
Yeah, it's important to stare at the interview.
Are you sure?
Could be.
Yeah, so I think we need to make this more negative.
I think both could be.
It's not a good idea.
Because I don't. Because we don't want to stare at the interviewer. If somebody stared at me, I would die.
I would say, like, be sure not to stare at the interviewer.
So, yeah, be sure not to. Perfect. Be sure not to stare at the interviewer. I think they did this to, this was the trick one. Be sure not to. And then, Antonio, can you do number 5?
It's sensible to look smart, maybe?
Yes, it's sensible.
No puedo entrar.
Okay. All right. And hello, Alexandra. How are you? Can you hear us, Alexandra? Okay, I'm going to mute her real quick. Alexandra, can you hear us? Okay. So Carlos, can you think of another one you can say? We'll have that be number 6.
It's a good idea to dress well for an interview.
Okay, perfect. It's a good idea to dress well for an interview. Okay, perfect. Right. Okay, so now, now what we're going to do is we're going to practice giving advice. So what I'd like each of you to do is choose one of these topics, or choose your own if you'd like to, and give everybody else advice on one of these topics or your own, either staying healthy, passing exams, or buying a computer. And yeah, we'll start with Antonio. Antonio, can you choose one of these and just give us some advice?
About one of them?
Yes, any of the, whatever you choose.
For example, buying a computer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I have to do to
Okay, so you would use one of these. For example, it's a good idea to choose a Macintosh, or so, whatever your opinion is.
Okay.
And you can say a lot, or you can say a little. It depends on your comfort.
I don't really know if I. Okay, I try. It's important to choose a good company for buying a computer.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make your own research about the internal component.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Are we sharing any kind of test? I can see any kind of.
No, I'm not writing anything down. I'm just listening.
Okay. I am speaking alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
If you are going to buy a computer, you have to invest the just amount of money to make a good balance between price and I don't know. So you, but I don't. I don't understand what's the relation between a job interview and this kind of.
It's just giving advice. What it is the lesson is
for any kind who wants to buy a computer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, giving somebody advice for buying a computer.
Too late for me.
No, I know it's like 1 in the morning. It's way too early for you. Way too late for you. So no, you've done well. So basically, you said it's good. It's important to choose the right company that you buy the computer from. Okay, so you did well. You did well, especially the first one. You never know. You know, and you're also new to me, so but good. Carlos, how about you? Can you choose one of these and just give us some advice, some tips that you would.
Yes, I think that it's important to staying healthy, because staying healthy you avoid to get a lot of diseases like heart diseases and another kind of illness. And for being healthy, it's important to exercise yourself at least an hour every day. And maybe jogging or riding a bike. Any exercise you can do is very helpful.
Okay. All right. So jogging, riding a bike, basically doing something, move every day, right?
Yes. I was a guy who spent 8 hours sitting in a chair at the office, so that wasn't good for me. So I started about 2 years ago to exercise every day, doing anything, walking, instead to get my car to get to go to the grocery store. I walk and some little thing like that, and they help me a lot. I think I got a good health now.
Awesome. That's great. I need to follow your advice. So, because
It's too
I've
hard. At the
yeah.
beginning, it's too hard. Once you get in the rhythm, kind of you get like a hobby doing that. So
Yeah, it's just part of your lifestyle. Exactly.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, Alejandro, do you have some advice to give us?
Um, it is important to buy a computer if you are a computer programmer, for example.
Okay, and so it's important for buying a computer to be a computer programmer. Okay, but how about, okay, Alejandro, what about just to say, for example, you were telling your mom's not a computer programmer, but she needs a computer. What advice would you give your mom?
Um, it's important to buy uh, mm, uh, a normal computer. I don't know.
Okay, so okay, and thank you for your effort, though. No
Or
worries.
a laptop. It
Yeah, it's
depends
important.
the use that you need to buy it.
Okay. Thank you for your effort. So, and then, Julio, can you give us some advice?
Sure, about passing exams.
Yes.
It is always a good idea to have a good night's rest before the exam. Many students they try to pull all-nighters, trying to study more before the exam, but that would actually it's going to diminish their concentration during the exam. So just the night before, relax and try to go to bed early and just enjoy the night, and the next day you will feel fresh, you will feel ready for your exam. About buying a computer, I don't recommend people to buy computers anymore. I think people are not using computers anymore. Now you can use a tablet or a cell phone, and you can do pretty much anything that you do on a computer on one of these devices, and it's also portable, so you can take it whenever you go, wherever you go. So computers, I don't think they are a good idea anymore. And staying healthy, just eat fruits and vegetables. Try to do a little bit of exercise every day. And you know what they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Yeah, it certainly does. Excellent. Thank you very much. And Ahmed, could you also give us some advice? Ahmed, I muted you because I thought you were making some noise, but you weren't, it turns out. So you need to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, not a problem.
About staying healthy.
Uh-huh.
You should work on weight, and it's a good idea to watch your weight every day. You should eat more vegetables, and it's important to drink a lot of water, maybe at minimum 8 cups for a day. Be sure to use free sugar and fat-free foods. Eat fat-free foods. It's important, very important to sleep at minimum 8 hours a day. And it's a good idea to practice 30 minutes a day.
All right, excellent, thank you. And Martin, do you have any advice for us with brief topics? Martin. Hello? Hello? Martin, can you hear us? Okay, Julio, can you hear me?
Sure.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
okay, because, all right, so he must have had an internet issue, which happens sometimes. Excuse me, pardon me. So let's look at these discussion questions. So let's start with Ahmed. Can you think of any other advice for someone having an interview soon? And somehow I muted you again, and I have no idea how I did that. So you're going to have to get on mute, off of mute. Ahmed. And you're muted. But I don't know how. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay. All right. So can you think of any other advice for someone having an interview soon? Or did
Having
we?
an interview, it's a good idea to come to an interview at time. Don't be late.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to organize your things, to study more questions from websites about interviews.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to prepare your CV and speak about your experience. Very good.
All right. Thank you. All right. And Alejandro, when did you last have an interview? How did it go?
This was one week ago. Um, they asked me first about my what I want to learn to learn
Mm-hmm.
how much want I earn.
Mm-hmm. So they asked you about the salary in the first
Yes,
interview?
in the first, yes, and it
Wow.
was all the interview. It was by telephone.
Oh, okay. It was
No?
in English we call that a screening interview.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It was for HP.
Mm-hmm.
They asked me about my English skills.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Okay. And then you said, okay, I think I need to study more English.
Yeah.
So you can get that dream job. Awesome.
Mhm.
So you'll get it eventually. So, Antonio, have you ever had a non-job interview?
Yes, something like the previous partner by phone. It was a multi-purpose interview related with education and politic
Mm-hmm.
situation and my both intention in the same interview.
Mm-hmm.
Something
Okay.
like research or to make a balance. I propose to make a chart or with all the interviews.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So and did they what did they do with the information they found out? Was it a survey or was it something they published in a newspaper or?
Yes, because it's a company who makes survey for newspapers,
Uh-huh. Okay.
and I don't really read something like similar with my interview in no newspaper, any kind of newspaper or news. I
Mm-hmm.
don't really know, but they say me it was a important survey enterprise, and and I did it because the person who was in line was very polite and very professional and answered question by question. I suppose it was a serious job. I
Mhm.
answered every question, and I suppose it was important for them, but I don't really read something like related with my answers.
Mhm. Related to my answers. Okay. Thank you. And yeah, I've had several non-job interviews, and they've been on like for press releases and for blogs. And one time it was a Skype interview, and now I Google my name, my first and last name, and I see this interview, and I've never watched it. Probably should one day. So, um, but Carlos, do you think interviewing people is an easy job? Why or why not?
Um, I don't think that is an easy job, but also I don't think that it's a hard work. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think that the main thing is to ask the correct question, because normally people are trying, or some people are trying to hide something, so something that they did in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be able to find that little thing that the people uh, that don't know that you know about their lives.
Mm-hmm.
If they have something to hide, but I think that the key is to ask the correct questions,
Mm-hmm.
and you need that ability to find the correct question in the correct time.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, I think it is true because it's important for the interviewer to uncover if people are lying. So, I personally think it's very difficult, but it's my personality. Every time I interview a prospective employee, I want to hire them. I wouldn't have interviewed them if I did not want to hire them, and so I have a hard time not telling them that you're hired during the first interview. So I've had to have somebody else either interview with me or take over the interviewing. So because I just can't do it, I'm too nice. So, Julio, when did you last have an interview? How did it go?
Mm, well, I guess it was some time ago. I want to talk about an interview that I had
Okay, talk to us.
like a few years ago. I looked for a job in a company called Language Line,
Uh-huh.
which is, have you ever heard of that one?
I think so. It totally rings a bell.
Yeah, it's a company that they look for interpreters. And
Mhm.
what they do is that in the United States, according to this company, they have like phones in different hospitals or police stations or
Mhm.
different companies, where when they have a somebody that doesn't speak English, they would use this phone to have like a three-party call, and you will be
Mhm.
translating
Yeah.
them, like you will be translating English to Spanish and Spanish to English. So
Mhm.
everything was over the phone, all the interviews and exams, and I did pretty well, even though my English was not perfect. And
Uh-huh.
I did pretty well during the interview. I actually got to the final stage, and something that really helped me that was over the phone. I could have all my information like in front of me, and I had already
Uh-huh.
prepared several questions and answers and examples of my competencies, and I was ready, and I had everything written on. I had all the documents close to me, so I think that over the phone interviews are easier than like face-to-face interviews. And
I totally
at
agree.
the end, I didn't get the job because I couldn't translate like from. I was very good translating from English to Spanish, but I couldn't do the same at the same level from Spanish to English.
English.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I definitely
Yeah.
I know I realized that I had a lot of passive vocabulary that if I hear it I know what it is. But when
Mhm.
when I try to speak, it's difficult for me to use it. So I
Mhm.
just completely forget it if I don't hear it. So
Yeah.
didn't get the job at the end.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that company actually I actually knew about that company before I got into language training and linguistics and so forth, because when I was my very first job after university, I worked for AT&T, which is at the time it was one of the biggest phone companies in the U.S. And we used a language line when someone would call and ask for an interpreter, and
Oh. Hmm.
in the U.S. Since English is not a what is it? Not the national language. It is required for state and local government to have an ability to get a translator at any time. The people are like, for example, if you guys moved to the U.S. and you wanted to take your driver's license exam in Spanish, if you were in a community with over a certain percentage of Spanish speakers, you could take your driver's license exam in Spanish, or in Arabic, for example. Ahmed could do that in Arabic, and so because of that, Language Line is one of the biggest interpreting companies, and they're at hospitals, police stations, telephone companies. A lot of corporate clients use them for their call centers and so forth. And I believe that the last company I worked for with the Affordable Care Act actually used Language Line as well. So,
Hmm.
all right. So welcome back, Martin. I'm glad you were able to come back.
So just one thing, Holly, are you saying that English is not the national language, not the official
Correct.
language in the United States?
Yeah, the
Okay.
official was the word I was looking for. Yeah,
Official.
the United States does not have an official language, and so
Interesting.
because it's a piece of trivia that a lot of people don't know, because English is of course the language that everybody needs to really be successful in this country. That it is not the official language. So
And then what is the
so
official language in the United States?
but there's been people that have been trying to get Spanish to become the official language, so that everybody will be required to become bilingual. So
That's funny.
Spanish or French or something like that.
And
Um, so yeah, so that's one of the reasons the schools have to give bilingual lessons. Like some of the bigger schools, like in San Francisco and Los Angeles and New York City, they actually have bilingual classes for the younger grades, because you have kids that are raised in a home where they don't speak English as their native language, and so they start kindergarten, and they don't actually speak English very well. And so they'll have bilingual kindergartens and things like that, because it's not required to be able to speak English to start school. So, yeah. So, let's go ahead and start on this free. Oh, we're almost done. So, let's go ahead and ask and answer some of these questions. Ahmed, can
Yes.
you choose a question here and ask somebody in the room a question?
Yeah. May I ask, Anthony? Do you have a part-time job? If so, what do you do?
And who are you asking, Antonio?
Antonio, yes.
Okay.
Antonio, are you here? Are you hearing me?
Yes, sorry. Can you
You have
you
a part-time job? If so, what do you do?
no, it's a complete time job.
Full-time
But
job.
yes, complete time.
Uh-huh.
But
Okay, so
my relation with the company
Full-time work at your hotel.
full-time. Yes, it's a full-time job.
If
So
you
what
if
do
you
you
have
do?
time, what did you do?
Sorry?
If you have time, what will you do this time?
I I'm opening new shops of my franchise, um, who is related with perfumes. And every time, full time, I'm traveling or speaking with possible clients or explaining what what have they do to enter in our franchise, and how many things they have to do, how cost they have to invest, and sometimes I have to travel only to explain face to face, but sometimes it's only needed to conversation with by on the internet or by Skype or sending any kind of mailings or phone conversations. But it's not easy how you can understand that it's a difficult business to convince any kind of client, and there are a lot of competency, and we have to avoid to make the same that the other company, and make better day by day.
All right. Right. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. And so let's see, we have time for one more.
You are accepted for this job.
Yeah. we will give you this job.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're actually out of time, guys. Thank you so much for your participation. And if you're still around for the next hour, I think a couple of you need to go to bed because it's very late at night.
I'm sorry. I will sleep now.
Yeah. Yeah, the next class is on traveling though. So if you do want to stay around, that's what we'll be doing. So anyway, I'll see you later. Thank you all, and I appreciate your participation. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.